Jonathan Taylor and Jim Irsay are not in the fraternity. They're in different fraternities. The running backs fraternity they're losing pledges. You know, every week is hell week for a running back in his fraternity. And then you got Jim Irsay. Jim Irsay's the one owner Jerry Jones does, but Jim Irsay says some things where you go, he probably shouldn't have done that. But here's a little bit of Jim Irsay talking about his situation, his life, and his running back.
If I die tonight and Jonathan Taylor's out of the league, no one's going to miss us. The league goes on. I mean, we know that. The National Football rolls on. It doesn't matter, who comes and who goes.
I don't know if we have to get life and death here. If I die and Jonathan Taylor dies, nobody cares. I mean, yeah, probably right. I mean, they probably would remember Jim Irsay for basically, I don't know, being born on third base. Your dad had a team. Your dad moved the team. You took over the team, and you use your money to buy guitars and things like that. That's it. I mean, Jonathan Taylor's working for his money, and I think that's the disconnect. Jim Irsay hasn't worked for his money. Jonathan Taylor is like, this is all I have here. I got one more year. This is my contract year. And the Colts are probably being very prudent by saying, look, we want to see how your ankle is. You got banged up. Are you a great running back? Yes. He was a second-round draft pick. But the Colts are probably going, well, Dalvin Cook's out there and Zeke Elliott. We'll use a second-round draft pick next year. I mean, this is the thought process. As much as we want to go, you should be getting $13 to $16 million. Yes, but he's disposable. He just is because of that position. He's sports disposable, where you go, guy, he was a really good running back. We can go down the list of running backs where you go, God, that guy had 3 years where he was awesome. Man, that guy was 4 years great. Marion Barber, man, I love the way he ran. It's the game is littered with these running backs. Everybody, it feels like, is replaceable at that position. Yes, Eden.
Does that mean if we go back through history, running backs become less impressive then? I mean, how many of those dudes were impressive now just because they were given the time to be?
You mean had a longer career, the longevity of it? I'd like to think that Jim Brown and Gale Sayers, O.J. Simpson, Eric Dickerson, those were unique talents. Walter Payton.
And what, now those unique talents just don't exist?
I don't know if those there's great running backs.
Because it kind of feels like to me we can't keep the greatness of the old running backs while saying modern ones are worthless.
Well, the owners are saying they're worthless.
Yeah. I mean, would the Cowboys not have been just as good if they just replaced Emmitt Smith after 3 years?
Well, they were a run-first team. I don't know if you can just get some. Well, Emmitt was durable. Could you have found another running back behind that offensive line? Yeah, you probably could. Probably not to the degree of Emmitt. But you're right. Is Derrick Henry one of the great running backs of all time, or just great in this era? Chris Johnson, is he a great running back or just great in his little time capsule here? So yeah, probably so. Is there somebody like Jim Brown back then? No, there wasn't. I mean, Barry Sanders is unique. Walter Payton was unique. Gale Sayers unique. But yeah, it does feel like, there probably were running backs that they got a chance to play 10, 12 years, where you don't get that anymore because nobody's going to employ you at a, respectable salary. Yes, Paul.
Yeah, before the 90s, the idea of sharing the running back position wasn't even a concept yet. I mean, there's a couple places, but once you found that running back, you gave him 300 carries until he somehow got his big injury and left the sport. Eric Dickerson, he would have played 12 years with the Rams if he didn't get banged up. It was just a weird mentality where the quarterback was secondary, and then Dan Marino came around, and it started to shift. It started to shift real fast.
Yeah, it's just weird that the better you are at that position, the more likely it is that I'm not going to sign you to a second contract.
Also, there was no such thing as a franchise tag back then. You couldn't hold a player, I don't know if hostage is the right word, but you couldn't control the market on him. You just had to re-sign the running back because there was no other option.
But I don't know what Jim Brown got paid. I have no idea. Like, did he get $300,000? Did he get $500,000? Did he get $100,000? I have no idea. And he was the best running back and one of the greatest players of all time. I have no idea. I don't know what Jerry Rice made. Anybody have an idea? Did he make $2 million? $2.5 million? I have no idea. Yes, Marv.
The running back position is one of those, like, man, remember that guy? Jamal Lewis ran for 2,000 yards. I only know that because I have no life. But Priest Holmes, Christian Okoye, 4-time or 2, Sean Alexander, those guys where you're saying 3, maybe 4 years, a few good years.
Well, Sean Alexander had, I think, 28 touchdowns one year for Seattle. And then it's more wear and tear on your body. And that's what Nick Chubb was saying. Hey, I can rush for 2,000 yards, and then I'm devaluing myself because it's like, man, he's got a lot of wear and tear on that. Instead of, hey, can I get 200 carries and maybe 80 catches? And this is what, it feels like offenses are doing. Christian McCaffrey, this is what you're doing with him. He can't carry the ball 300 times. You don't want him to carry it 300 times. They don't want to run it 300 times. But if I can give the option of you got to respect him as a receiver and a runner, then okay, in that offense, we can make this work. Yeah, Marv.
Is that why LaDainian Tomlinson played for so long, so effectively?
Well, he was a great receiver, yeah. I mean, he had one of the greatest seasons of all time as far as touchdowns. I mean, that might be as good a season a running back has ever had. But you start to look at how long do you want to keep him as your featured running back? How long can you? And these running backs now know that to stay in first, second, and third down, you got to be able to catch the ball and you got to be able to block as well. Yes, Paul.
Nick Chubb's one of the anomalies. He got the second contract, and he's actually improving. He's going into year 6. He had his best year last year, 1,500 yards. Jonathan Taylor knows he's going to make Jonathan Taylor his 4th year with the Colts. He's going to make $4 million this year. Next year, if he has a good season, they'll franchise tag him for $10.1 million. And that's it. That's the best he could hope for with the Colts. So he's trying to get that 3-year, $35 million deal now and get his one contract. And Jim Irsay is like, why? You have no control here. You have no leverage.
Yeah, and that's what he's trying to say is, hey, then trade me. And Jim Irsay said, I'm not trading you. But I don't know who's trading for Jonathan Taylor, because are you going to take him for 1 year and then you're going to be in this situation next year? I don't want to do that. If you said, hey, do you want to trade for Jonathan Taylor, or you want to sign Dalvin Cook? I'd sign Dalvin Cook. I don't have to trade. There's no leverage whatsoever. But, the fact that he's asked for a trade, and you got a rookie quarterback there, Anthony Richardson, who's going to need all the help he can get from other players on the team. And now if you don't have your star running back, this is a mess. Jim Irsay can think this, but saying it, and now, it's ready to detonate here. Yeah, on Sunday night, Jonathan Taylor on Twitter said he never had back pain, never reported back pain. Not sure who sources are, but find new ones. Somebody's lying here. The Colts are saying he showed up and he was complaining about, he had a back procedure done that usually takes a couple of weeks to heal, and that was a few months ago that he had it done, I believe. But, I don't know what the gamesmanship is. A source said that Taylor failed his physical because of a combination of a previous ankle injury for which surgery was performed earlier this year, and the back injury. The team's medical staff had not previously discussed a back issue with Taylor, and the Colts were unaware of the problem until Taylor reported Tuesday, a source said. So who leaked this? Who leaked this? That's what's interesting. And are you leaking medical information here, somebody? I hope that if you're Jim Irsay, I would want to know if somebody's leaking that. Wouldn't you? Hey, who's talking to ESPN or NFL Network here? Local Indianapolis reporter. Or did you say it was okay to leak that information?
What if those people are one and the same?